Hello student, good morning. I hope you all will be safe and sound. As in the civics we were talking, we have just talked about one conversation that has been given about the domestic violence, and we have read how the laws are being formed and are being made by the central government, mainly by the parliament of our country. Okay, after this one, what they have given, let's have a discussion over it. As the above example shows, the role of citizen in crucial in helping parliament frame different concerns that people might have into laws. So as the above example, as we have read about the conversation in the previous video, in the same that has been given, so this example shows to us what is the role of the citizens. The role of the citizen, it is very crucial, it is very important in helping parliament to frame, to make the different concern that people might have into laws. The people must be work under some laws. So as we have read about the example of the domestic violence, how the people has raised their voice, mainly about the females, they raised their voice, and how this came into effect as the law. That is why the people play an important role for making the laws for them. From establishing the need for new laws to its being passed at every stage of the process, the voice of the citizen is a crucial element. That has been also given from establishing a need for a new law. Whenever the new law is being going to establish, going to implement, and wherever there is a need of the new law, then what used to happen at every stage of the process, the voice of the citizen is very important element. At every stage, whether whatever the this one proposal is being made by the government for making the laws, so every stage the citizens, they play an important role for just raising their voice if they need to change in the particular law. This voice can be heard through TV reports, newspaper, that is newspaper editorial, radio broadcasts, local meetings, all of which help in making the work the parliament does not the more accessible and transport to the people. So we can raise the voice if the government is making the law which is not in the favor, which is not in the welfare of the people. So the people can raise their voice, and the voice can be heard through. Means we can just take the help of the TV reporters, newspaper editorial page. We can just give our suggestions and views. Radio broadcasts, local meetings can be done. All of which it help in making the work the parliament does more accessible. The parliament can more accessible and transport to the people. Whatever the things, transport instead of that is transparent. So whatever the things is being told by us, and whatever the things is being just telecasted by us with the help of the different social media, by the different social networking sites, so the parliament will be more accessible towards these things. Means the parliament can access these all the things, and it is the responsibility of the parliament to make the laws transparent. Mean to say, the people can also watch, the people can also see which sort of the law is being going to make by the parliament. Okay, then after this one, unpopular and controversial laws, which are known as the unpopular and controversial laws. So that has been given here. Let us look now at the situation where the participant passes law that turn out to be very unpopular. Mean to say, here that has been given, that let us look at the situation where the parliament passes the laws, where the parliament it passes the laws. Means in this one situation, what used to happen, and that turn out to be very unpopular. Means although the parliament is passing the law, but it is not so much popular. Sometimes a law can be that is consistently valid and hence legal, but it can be continued to be unpopular and unacceptable to the people because they feel that the intention behind it is unfair and harmful. Mean to say, whatever the law is being, sometimes what used to happen, the parliament, mainly the parliament or the state government, if they are making any law, although it will be constantly, it will be valid and it will be legal, but what used to happen, it it can continue to be the unpopular. Means it doesn't get the popularity, and it is not acceptable to the people because the people feel, the citizens of the country feel, the intention behind it is unfair and harmful. The intention means the main intention by making this law, this is harmful as well as that is not fair for the people. That is not in the welfare of the people. So what used to happen? These laws, which is not accepted by and not acceptable by the people, although it is legal constantly and also it is passed by the parliament, but these are not supported by the people. These laws are known as controversial and unpopular laws. Okay, hence people might criticize this law. In this one situation, what used to happen? The people criticize the law. The people, they used to criticize this law and hold public meetings, write about it in newspaper, report to TV news channels, etc. So in this one condition, what used to happen? The people criticize the laws by by conducting the public meetings, by writing articles in the newspapers, and by giving their views in the news channels, etc. In a democracy like ours, like India's democracy, citizens can express their unwillingness to accept repressive laws framed by the parliament. So what used to happen in countries where the democracies, that as India is having the one of the biggest democracy in the world, so in these all the countries, what used to happen? Citizens, they are having the right to express their views, and their views mainly, that is in willingness or unwillingness to accept repressive laws framed by the parliament. What about the repressive? To repress the people, to suppress the people. What about the laws are being made by the parliament? So the people and the citizens of the country, they can express their views and they can show their that is unwillingness towards a particular law. When a large number of people begin to feel that a wrong law has been passed, then there is a pressure on the parliament to change this. When what happens in the country mainly like ours, so when a large number of people begin to feel that a wrong law has been passed, large portion of the population, if they are also just against of the law and they are begin to feel this law is whatever the law has been passed by the government, that is not in the welfare of the citizens, so then there is a pressure on the parliament, to change the particular law. For example, various municipal laws on the use of space within municipal limits often make hawking and street vending illegal. For example, we have seen, even you might have noticed in your localities. So what used to happen? The various our municipal party, that municipal corporation, what is used to do? Whatever the laws have been made, that is on the use of the space within the municipal limits. Whatever the area comes under the municipal corporation, often make hawking and street vending illegal. Means whoever the hawkers were there, whoever the street vendors were there, who were selling something by just moving in the streets, and the hawkers also, they are selling something, so this has been made illegal. No one will dispute that necessity for some rules to keep the public space open so that public can walk on the payments easily. So no one will dispute the necessity for some rules. So no one will dispute over this one of the some of the necessity for some rules to keep the public space, to just maintain the public space open so that people can walk on the pavement easily. Means whatever the ways are there, whatever the streets are there. So the government, mainly the municipal, it wants the open space for the public purposes. They can walk freely over these. However, one also can deny that hawkers and vendors provide essential services cheaply and efficiently to the millions living in the large cities. And this, as well as this example has been given, whoever the hawkers and the vendors who are there, they are also providing the input, that is essential services very cheaply and efficiently to the millions of the people who are living in the large cities by going their door to door, and they are giving the door to door services to them. This is their means of livelihood, and as you all know that these vendors and for these hawkers, this is their livelihood. This is the managing to their livelihood. Hence, if the law favors one group and disregards the others, it will be controversial and lead to conflict. So what will happen when the law have been passed by the government? So what will happen? It is favoring to one group and thus not thus disregarding to the other group. So definitely it will just become a controversial, and it will become a controversy. So it will be a controversial and lead to the conflict, lead to the debate. People who think that the law is not fair can approach the court to decide on issue. So the people who think this law is not fair, not means good, so what will happen? They will go to the court and the court will decide on that particular issue. The court has the power to modify or cancel laws if it finds that they don't adhere to the constitution. So it depends on the court. It is the power of the court. So it will decided by the court by hearing both the sides, and the court will decide whether it is means legal or illegal, and it is mainly that is legally by the constitution or not. Okay. And here the right side, if you check, so here as you have already discussed in the class 7th, that is about the civil rights movement in 1964, that is in USA. So you may go for this one and you may check this one, what the African Americans, they face the problem in the USA and how they got the Civil Rights Act over there in 1964. You may go through this one, and as well as you have studied about this one thing in the previous year, mainly in the class 7th. Okay. So after this one, do you remember the photo essay that is on the women's movement in the class 7th book? So here downside you can see that is left side that has been given. Okay, the photo there showed that different ways in which citizens can protest, campaign and show solidarity. So here that it is the photo that the people they are showing in the different ways they can protest and they can campaign and they can show their solidarity against the government. The following pictures point to other ways in which people protest unjust laws. Means these are the means some of the pictures they have shown here, which are showing their protest against the unjust rule, which is not in the favor of people. We need to remember that our role as a citizen does not end with electing our representatives. So we need to remember, we need to be responsible as well, that our role as a citizen does not end with electing our representatives. Mean to say, we have elected our representatives, that our role doesn't just finish over there. Mean to say, rather it is then that we begin to use newspaper and the media to carefully that is chart that work that is being done by our MPs and criticize their actions when we feel it is required. Rather, it's more than this one. We are having the duties. We are responsible that we begin to use the newspaper if our MPs and MLAs they are not making the necessary things and not making the necessary laws for the citizens. So we begin to start to use the newspaper and media to carefully that is chart the work is being done by them. And we need to take actions when we feel it is required for we people. Thus, what we should bear in mind is that it is the extent, involvement and enthusiasm of the people that help Parliament perform its representative function properly. Thus, mean to say that that is what we should bear in mind, what we should keep in your mind, that is that it is the extent and involvement and enthusiasm, that is our encouragement of the people that helps Parliament to perform its representative functions properly. Mean to say, if you will be not taking participate and you will be unaware about these all the things, so definitely whatever the laws and rules and regulation will be made, these are not in the favor of we people. So that is why there is a need of the involvement, the extent, that extent and the enthusiasm, that is encouragement of we people, that also helps to the Parliament to function properly and to make the laws to function, and to make the laws for the countries, for all the citizens of the country. Okay, this is all about the chapter. After this one, some exercise questions have been given that we will discuss next period. Okay.